Peace, peace. Happy book reading Sunday. Hi, it's Heart Love. Welcome to the YouTube live book reading of Cheikh Anta Diop and the New Light on African History. I'm your moderator and narrator, Uriel. Peace, everyone. What's going on? Yay. It's time for a new book. So, I'm really honored to be with you and read this book. It's a very brief book, very succinct and precise. Cheikh Anta Diop and the New Light on African History by the great master teacher, Dr. John Henrik Clarke. Let us begin. Cheikh Anta Diop and the New Light on African History, John Henrik Clarke, 1974. Cheikh Anta Diop, one of the most able of present-day scholars writing about Africa, is also one of the greatest living Black historians who have his first major work, Nations, Negre et Culture, 1955, is still disturbing the white historians who have made quick reputations as authorities on African history and culture. In this book, Dr. Diop shows the interrelationships between African nations, North and South, and proves, because in this case proof is needed again and again, that ancient Egypt was a distinct African nation and was not historically or culturally a part of Asia or Europe. More myths about Africa are put to rest in another one of his books, The Cultural Unity of Negro Africa, 1959. The publication of his first book in the United States, The African Origin of Civilization, Myth of Reality, Myth or Reality. Myth or Reality is a cause for celebration. This book and others of recent years, all by Black writers, have called for a total reconsideration of the role that African people have played in history and their impact on the development of early societies and institutions. Peace, everyone. Hi, it's Heart Love. Welcome to the YouTube live book reading of Cheikh Anta Diop and the New Light on African History. This is a very poignant book. So we're going through it. Hi, it's Heart Love, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the likes and subscribes. Man, much honor. Page 7, Cheikh Anta Diop was born in the town of Uriel in Senegal on the west coast of Africa in 1923. His birthplace has a long tradition of producing Muslim scholars and oral historians. This is where his inspiration and interest in history, the humanities, and social sciences from an African point of view began. After the publication of his first book, Nations Negre et Culture, that had been rejected as a PhD thesis at the Sorbonne in Paris, he became one of the most controversial of present day African historians. Nations Negre et Culture is both a reassessment of the African past and a challenge to Western scholarship on Africa. He refutes the myth of Egypt as a white nation and shows its southern African origins. It is his intention to prove that, through Egyptian civilization, Africa had made the oldest and one of the most significant contributions to world culture. This is not a new argument that started with Cheikh Anta Diop's generation of Africans. The Ghanaian historian Joseph B. Danquah, in his introduction to the book, United West Africa at the Bar of the Family of Nations by Ladipo Solanke, published in 1927, 4 years after Sheikh Anta Diop was born, said exactly the same thing. His statement reads: by the time Alexander the Great was sweeping the civilized world with conquest after conquest, from Cheronia to Gaza, from Babylon to Kabul, by the time the first Aryan conquerors were learning the rudiments of war and government at the feet of the philosopher Aristotle, and by the time Athens was laying down the foundations of European civilization, the earliest and greatest Ethiopian culture had already flourished and dominated the civilized world for over 4 centuries and a half. Imperial Ethiopia had conquered Egypt and founded the 25th dynasty, and for a century and a half, the central seat of civilization in the known world was held by the ancestors of the modern Negro, maintaining and defending it against the Assyrian and Persian empires of the East. Thus, at the time when Ethiopia was leading the civilized world in culture and conquest, East was East, but West was not. And the first European, Grecian, Olympiad was yet to be held. Rome was nowhere to be seen on the map, and 16 centuries were to pass before Charlemagne would rule in Europe and Egbert became the first king of England. Even then, history was to drag on for another 700 weary years before Roman Catholic Europe could see fit to end the Great Schism, soon to be followed by the disturbing news of the discovery of America and the fateful rebirth of the youngest of world civilizations. Here, Danquah is showing that African history is the foundation of world history. In the present book by Cheikh Anta Diop, and in most of his other works, his objective is the same. In his first major work on history, Dr. Diop has said, The general problem confronting African history is this: how to recognize effectively through meaningful research all of the fragments of the past into a single ancient epic. A common origin which will reestablish African continuity if the ancients were not victims of a mirage. It should be easy enough to draw upon another series of arguments and proofs for the union of the history of Ethiopian and Egyptian societies with the rest of Africa. Thus, combined, these histories would lead to a properly patterned past in which it would be seen that ancient Ghana rose in the interior West Africa of the continent at the moment of Egyptian decline, just as the Western European empires were born with the decline of Rome. And we'll pause right here, continue back with Cheikh Anta Diop and the new light on African history by the great master teacher, Dr. John Henrik Clarke. Thank you guys for reading with us. We just paused at the bottom of page 12 on this wonderful new reading. Happy Sunday. I want you to have a terrific day. Love and honor to you. Highest heart love. Oh, thank you so much, Dan. You have a blessed day too. Yeah. Glory to the Most High. Thank you for allowing us to be here. I want to give love and honor to all those that have came before us and now have elevated. Highest heart love. Peace, everyone. Love to my family. I love you. Peace, everyone. I'll see you soon. All right. Thank you.